Welcome back to a brand new No BS crypto news video where I bring you the crypto news every day in the most no BS way possible. So today I want to touch on a few altcoins that I am really eyeing off right now because of some recent events that have happened in the market that give that particular narrative a whole new dimension of importance, which I think is going to give them a lot of demand over the next 2 years. And I'm going to also touch on how we can take advantage as well. Now, we also have some Bitcoin news relating to whales actually starting to sell off in regards to a particular event that might be happening soon. I think you guys might know already what I'm talking about, plus some other important small altcoin news as well. You're going to want to pay attention, and the reason being is because in crypto, if you're 1 day behind in news, that can be the difference between making and losing money. So make sure you're subscribed with the bell on to never miss one of these videos. So let's begin here very briefly with the altcoin heat map. And I'm going to say briefly because I'm actually filming this video 1 day ahead of time because as of launching, I'm having a day off, right? So I'm probably sipping a pina colada right now. So I'm not going to be touching on this because it might change in the next 24 hours. But suffice to say, we might have over the next 24 hours more of a dip. Right now, we are a little bit red, as you can tell. So I want to use this time to point out in the general market sense here, the global crypto market cap. We're at currently $1.6 trillion. And in regards to the possible event happening on the horizon here, the Bitcoin ETFs being approved, I think we can all agree they're going to be approved, or at least some of the 13 will be approved. But it might cause a little surge initially. It might cause something like this to happen. And then I think it'll actually come down and retrace from where we are right now between 5 to 15%. Possibly over the subsequent 3 months. We also have the Bitcoin halving that might actually make things worse depending on the general market sentiment around March to April next year, okay? So all I'm saying is we might have some good DCA opportunities on the horizon, and I will continue to push this onto you because some of you need to understand that these things happen with or without you, so it's always good to take advantage. I personally am taking advantage by being 20% in cash right now, and I will continue to grow my cash holdings for an event like this. Again, key important thing here is I'm 70% in crypto to take advantage of any case. And the first bit of news here comes to us from the beauty of crypto. Thanks to blockchain technology and the transparent nature it beholds, we can have a look at who's sending money to exchanges and who's sending money from exchanges. Now, in this case, over $1.2 billion in Bitcoin profits cashed out by short-term holders. This headline's a bit disingenuous. They didn't actually cash out. When they say cash out, in this case, $1.2 billion worth of Bitcoin was sent to an exchange or exchanges from short-term holders. Now, in this case, short-term holders refers to those who held Bitcoin for 155 days and less. So these guys started to send their Bitcoin to a place in which, yes, you can actually swap out or sell off for cash, of course. But this chart represents kind of what I want to go on here. And it's interesting going from this back to what I just spoke about over here, because in pink represents these short-term holders, okay? And you can see over the last, well, since about August, they've been slowly selling off when Bitcoin was going up. And the blue line represents the long-term holders. Effectively, we could think of these guys as like smart money. They were like buying, or at least holding, and then they started selling off only the last couple weeks. So again, that's just so funny to me because the short-term holders have been buying the last couple weeks. So in my interpretation of this, our long-term holders, you could kind of classify, again, these guys as like whales, or at least people who might be more acute to understanding the market. They're selling off possibly to anticipate this, while of course the typical dumb money is over here buying up the top. Now, interestingly, this chart also represents this little pink shaded area here, which tells us that these short-term holders, individually speaking, are also buying more Bitcoin per person as well. So this was just a kind of interesting thing to think about. And I wanted to, again, give you guys this just to put some thought and perspective on things. The beauty of crypto is we have a transparent nature, and so we can observe this before an event like what may come on the horizon. So next up on the news, we have something from Terraform Labs. These are the founders of Terra, Luna, right? And actually, a federal judge in the US, I think from the district court in the New York office, actually said that it's a security, confirmed security, okay? It wasn't just Luna, the Luna token itself. It was a Luna-based ecosystem project as well, MIR. Don't know what that is, right? But again, it was kind of scary here because he went ahead and said, hey, these are actually security tokens. Now, I don't mean to concern you here, but it is a bit of a warning sign for the rest of the market because I don't think there's too much of a difference between the Luna token and other layer 1 tokens or other tokens in general, especially because they marked as well an ecosystem-based project. Yes, there might be slight differences in the utility for these projects, but I think moral of the story is they would all classify as a security based on this. Now, I believe the judge actually went ahead and told the SEC to calm the F down because the SEC, honestly would be going to themselves right now, well, hey, Luna's a security, MIR's a security, well, the rest of the cryptocurrency market's got to be a security too, right? I don't really think so, right? I don't think that, cryptos inherently are security tokens, or at least the ones I look at. Most of them should be commodities, but just keep your eyes out for this. Very important information. Again, if the SEC take this, which I can almost guarantee they will, and spin it into another lawsuit, they can say, well, hey, you guys classified these two as securities, these 3,000 altcoins are the exact same, let's pin this. Keep your eye out. Now, here's the big thing that I wanted to touch on today, okay? So crypto users lost $1.8 billion in 2023 due to hacks and scams. So the highest losses were seen in November, which was $343 million, September, which was $340 million, and July, which was $320 million. So a lot of money, 1 point, whatever it was, $8 billion doesn't sound like much when we talk about, the crypto asset market being valued at $1.6 trillion, but we're still talking about average people losing money. We're still talking about $1.8 billion right now being accumulatively the size of a top 50 altcoin, even probably like top 30 altcoin or whatever it might be at this point. So it's a lot of money to be, lost to hackers. Now, a total of $1.6 billion was lost as a result of the hacks in 247 incidents, mostly connected to decentralized finance platforms. Makes total sense to me. DeFi is where a lot of money is. It's finance, decentralized finance, so of course, that's what's going to be targeted. While fraud accounted for $103 million lost in 110 incidents. Maybe fraud in this case is in relation to things like hacks within wallets. So keep an eye out. A lot of phishing does go on in cryptocurrency. You use the wrong link, looks very similar, sign your wallet, funds are lost and gone. BNB chain and Ethereum were consistently the most attacked blockchains, accounting for more than half of the total losses. Now, North Korea's Lazarus Group got away with a large chunk of that, $306 million. That is a hacking group pretty much funded at the national level over there in the North Korea. So please be very well aware. Now, this kind of brings up a second article over here. Levinar protocol exploited for over $1 million on Osmosis. This was exploited over 13 days and they drained 10% of their liquidity pools. So a bug in Osmosis fee market code that during times of congestion, the provided gas was generally insufficient for making trades or performing ongoing bot maintenance, and that was kind of how they got in. Now, again, this brings up a few altcoins that come to mind in which we can prevent this sort of thing happening, which also have a few other very important narratives. And I think the narrative bandwagon for crypto is really taking off. I don't think it was really a big thing in the last cycle from what I remember. I don't really remember people getting amongst a whole bunch of altcoins for anticipation of something, but I feel like in this bull run, it really will be. A prime example of this is layer ones. Prime example of this is modularity. This is going to be a big narrative. And also things like oracles, right? Or even AI. And in this case, the narrative at question here is privacy, right? Privacy and security. Now, there are a few networks in this case like Oasis Network that I believe will really take off because of that fact, okay? So Oasis Network is a very similar project to which another one I talk about quite often here, Mina. They're very similar. They use ZKPs, which is in itself a very big narrative, I believe, as well, to protect users and to remain private, right? To keep the anonymity of crypto, which is the whole friggin' damn point, right? So Oasis has a bit of a foothold, I believe, in China. I could be wrong there. I know it's one of those Asian countries, but these guys are more focused on the enterprise adoption, right? These guys are focused on that sort of higher level. Mina, I believe, is more crypto focused within Web3 itself, right? Both of them have pretty interesting features, but this is more of a reason why I think you guys have to understand that hedging into projects like this now will become more apparent into the future. Now, it's interesting because we had more hacks in 2023 than we did in 2022, but we had more consistent hacks, right? There was actually more rather than less. So that tells me, some of these security measures are actually increasing, but at the same time, maybe these hackers are just not finding the right protocols because they're not hacking as much money. So In any case, it could definitely pick up in 2024, especially because of the bull run. So Quant Network is another example of a project that will benefit from a security narrative. These guys aren't hyper-focused in security, but what they are hyper-focused in is connecting different networks together. A big spearhead for what I think a lot of demand will come in of itself, which is interoperability, right? These guys are focused on, again, connecting like Web 3 to Web 2, and then Web 3 and 2 to like siloed old networks you'd find like your old bank in a small town would use, all together in a very secure way. This is the big spearhead movement for these guys. They have their CEO, Gilbert, basically founding a standard that is used globally for cybersecurity. And also, he has worked with over 20 years of experience in many different corporate and also government-based jobs for cybersecurity. So this really is a network to connect the networks in the most secure way possible. Of course, it differs from Mina and Oasis in the fact that it's not ZKP heavy, it's not a layer 1 network, it's not lightweight. Okay, so these are more so focused in the privacy narrative, whereas Quant's focused in the interoperability area instead. So they both, I believe, will be very, very strong narratives for all three of these projects respectively. We also have a wild card here. Nillion as well is one to look out for this whole security narrative. Now this, from what the research I've done so far, is hands down going to be the most secure network in crypto. Matter of fact, even possibly the world. They're calling themselves the Fort Knox of the metaverse because they're literally unhackable. Basically, what they've done is take an old crypto primitive made many, many yonks ago, and they've made it scalable, which it couldn't have been done before. In so much so that each and every single bit of a transaction is split up multiple times and then shredded and then burnt. You literally cannot hack it. But their main, I guess, differentiator to these types of projects is that it's kind of like a render network. It's kind of like a Flux in that it's a decentralized computational project. It's, again, comparable to the likes of Amazon Web Service, Google Cloud, Apple Cloud, so on and so forth, right? You can run nodes on it, store things on it, do a whole bunch of things. So they haven't launched their token yet, but those who have been around the channel for a while knows I'm looking out for it. And when it does launch, I will scoop up a whole bunch of the tokens. So if you have some cash on the side, this would be one to look out for. Now we also have ZK Sync as well, outpacing Ethereum in terms of monthly transaction volume, apparently propelled by inscription activity. Inscriptions is basically the thing that's weighing Bitcoin down right now, where you can add sort of complex data to a single transaction to do things like host NFTs, right? And all that sort of stuff. But in this case, it has helped ZK Sync, which has their airdrop, I believe, coming out here in the first half of 2024, go past the Ethereum daily transaction amount of 34.16 million. ZK Sync is 34.67 million, which is interesting. Arbitrum 1 comes close at 31, but the next best is Linear, way down at 15 million. So it's kind of impressive to see that actually happening here. And I think a good chunk, about 5 to 6 million of those transactions did come from those inscriptions. So big stuff for ZK Sync, breaking some records here today. And guys, if you are in the ZK Sync airdrop, you're probably going to make some decent money on that. With that all being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. And if you have and made it this far, you would be crazy not to hit the like button right now. It does help me out quite a lot. With that said, I will see you all tomorrow. Take good care.